Welcome back, Rare Talks. You already know what it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't, make sure you head over to the Spotify to check out the exclusive episodes on the Spotify. And today I'm joined by a special guest. Yeah, you know me, I always bring on special guests. One thing about me is I always bring on great guests. I think, you know what you need to start calling me? The best guest inviter. Not anybody gets to sit down, but when they do, we have the amazing conversations. So introduce yourself.
My name is Emmy. I go by Miss MV on Instagram. I am just finishing uni in nursing.
Come on, big up to the nurses out there. No more clapping, start paying them their money.
Please.
Give them their dough. They be saving lives out there. So how you been?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
So we're going to get into some questions. I wanted to ask you, because I saw a clip about your past. Everything you went through. Now, everybody's gone through something, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like we haven't. We all gone through something. But your story intrigues me.
Yeah,
So
it's a story and a half.
Let's get into that a little bit. But before we start, tell everyone a little bit about you. So like where you're from, stuff like that.
Well, I've driven from Birmingham today, so I reside now for my sins. I love hiking.
Hiking?
Yeah.
That's the most random thing I've heard.
I don't really drink. I don't really party. I just disappear into the mountains. Big music fan.
Okay, what kind of music?
Everything.
You know what? I look, watch this. You like Jamaican music?
Yes.
Jamaican music runs the world. I don't care what anyone says. Jamaican music runs the world.
It depends on what side of the bed I get out of. Sometimes I'm like Bashment ready. Sometimes I'm soul.
But can you drive? When you drive to Bashment, how do you feel?
Well, I turned it down when I got off the junction here. So I felt great until I got a bit confused at the junction.
Put in the junction. Hey, can you dance Jamaican music though?
Yes. Not right now. Don't ask me to get up and do it.
No. I'm saying, but have you ever been to Jamaica?
No, I was supposed to, but then my ex had a wife that contacted me just before we were supposed to go. I said I got a pass.
Yeah. That went like that was a Zoom call. What?
Yeah. I've been to a bashment rave in Barking. That was an eventful time.
Bashment rave?
It was in a derelict hut.
How was that?
Amazing.
It was probably one of the best experiences, isn't it?
It was. It really was.
Do you know what difference between what I see with Jamaican parties, is like everyone comes for vibes. Mm-hmm. So you not catch, like you have a man standing up in there, but you'll see people dancing, enjoyment, everything.
I was shook, but I was like welcomed with open arms and pushed through the door.
Yeah, no, Jamaicans, see us. Come, yo, girl, come in and all. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, no. Go to the bar now. You want to drink? Yeah. Get her one. Like,
that's exactly what happened.
Get her one. I'm a virgin. You never see you before. Where you come from?
That's exactly.
Everyone, you come from? You see stars in your eyes.
That's it.
Bear man praying you like this.
I was an out-of-towner, that's for sure.
Yeah, Jamaicans. I love my people still. I love my people. I love my people.
They're a great ego boost. I'll give them that.
Come on, man. Jamaicans all day. All right, so just to get back into some past. So when you was younger, how did you view relationships, and how was relationships viewed to you?
So I grew up with mum and dad married. My grandparents were all married as well. Still married now. So it was all about unity and close-knit family and continually picking each other, and even in the tough times staying together and apologising. And I witnessed all that. You know, my mum and dad weren't perfect. They had arguments, whatever, but I always saw the apology afterwards. So when I hit my teens, and it weren't happening like that for me, at like 18, 19, it just didn't happen like that for me. I got a bit angry. I didn't really understand why it didn't just work like that. Obviously, that's all I'd ever seen. And I was engaged. I was engaged quite young to military. He wanted us to move together, so that was the right thing to do. And then that fell apart. He was messing around with other people. I was probably a bit young as well. Like I always say, I played my part in that scenario. And he went on, met somebody else quite quickly, and they're married now. So I'm all for happy ending. So if that's his happy ending, cool.
You know what I've realised with people that come from two-parent households, they always want to establish a family. regardless if it's never turned out that way, and they've always like hit stumbling blocks, they've always had that desire of seeing their parents together. It's like they want to be able to go to their parents and be like, this is my husband or this is my wife, because it feels like a normal thing to do because you was raised in it. Not to say any of our lives were perfect because of
definitely.
that, but it was the fact that you saw unity. Two people actually put their life down and stayed.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like some of our parents stayed because of us, and sometimes they just done it because they loved each other and they just thought, you know what, I'm with this person now. I can't really see myself with someone else, even if one of them made mistakes, as I say, because I feel like in the day and age that we live in, relationships are tended to be over if somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah, I said the other week, I was on another podcast and I said that I wouldn't leave initially at cheating, and everyone was like, what do you mean? And then I saw another clip saying that women that put up with cheating are cheaters too, and that sent me west, because that's not why I said what I said.
That's not true.
I said that, you know, I think cheating is plural. I think there's a problem there, but if somebody makes a mistake, comes to you, saves the embarrassment and tells you to your face, I think that's a completely different scenario.
I generally think that our parents, if they did make mistakes, it was generally a mistake, and you could see that after everything they've been through, places they've gone, everything they've done together, they built a life together. And I feel like when you have a 2-parent household, that becomes something that you aspire for.
Yeah.
And when you don't get it, it kind of makes you question yourself. Am I?
I think I think over the years it's hindered me ever so slightly. I probably met my husband, do you know what I mean? But I'd probably just told him to piss off. Like, I'm looking for perfection because that's what I've seen growing up. I haven't, like, my parents obviously defended me from certain things and shielded me and whatever, but I think now I'm a bit more of a realist. Like, no one's perfect, but I'm obviously looking for that perfect thing that I've grown up in, which makes it even harder in this day and age.
But do you think perfection is ever met?
No, I don't. I think somebody asked me the other day, what do you think's missing from your life that would give you complete happiness? And I don't believe in complete happiness, because to have complete happiness is fairy tale, right? So
there's no such thing.
So you've got to have dips and troughs in life.
100%.
But I think things took a turn when my nan passed away. So I lost her quite young, like early teens.
Okay.
And we were very, very close. And my granddad never met anybody else. They never, when they both lost their spouses, they never went with anybody else. So I never saw that side of things, but I just never really got over that grief. It happened so quickly and we were so close that I was just turning into an angry kid.
Do you know, just to speak on that, grief is a silent killer. And what I mean by that is that sometimes it doesn't hit you immediately, but it has an effect on you.
Definitely.
And it has an effect on everybody differently. I feel when you're younger, it makes you rebellious.
Oh, 100%.
You could have the best parents in the world, but the grief's done something to you and it's made you act or be a certain way.
Yeah.
But you can't explain that because when you're young, you don't know you don't have emotional intelligence.
Yeah, definitely.
You're building the skills to gather that, but you don't actually have emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
So the majority of times you're learning yourself as you're growing. And I say a lot about relationships here. Did your parents ever sit down with you and break down like relationships, sex, stuff like that?
Not really, because I dived into like a serious relationship at 16, so it was like I did it all behind their back basically. I probably hid a lot from my parents because I didn't really know who I was, and I'm 31 now and I can sit here and say I know exactly who I am now, but it's taken me years. And I think I didn't deal with my nan's grief until my granddad passed away before Christmas. And then 10 weeks later, I lost the second granddad. And it was all just too much. And everything last year? Literally this year. So 23rd of December and 17th of March, I lost grandparents. So that all came flooding back. And I was at uni and I was trying to work full time. And I was trying to keep up podcasting. And I was trying to just live my life. And it also just got too much. But I've definitely, in this process of grieving, grieved for my nan. And I feel at peace with it now. And everyone has their own opinion on things like that as well. Like, my mum was quite adamant my nan had given up. And she was quite angry with her for that. Whereas to me, it was just my nan. Like, it was my nan that had gone. I didn't care how or why she'd gone. Because there was letters found. My nan had written letters to me and my sister before she passed away. Literally that week they were found in her handbag.
What did they say them letters?
They were like little poems, just like very personal poems that had been written that were very evident that she wanted us to read. and then within a week or so, she'd had a stroke and she'd gone. So it was really deep, and
that's deep. That'll touch me in the, because those poems for me, if I saw that, would do something different to me every time I read it.
Yeah,
I'd have to. Yeah, it'd take me a long time to get that. That's rough.
Yeah, it's like I think she knew. I think she knew, and
100%.
then her husband got cancer, so he's just dealt with that for 2 years. So that was the same but different because he knew, but he also got the time with us. And it wasn't easy. He was a bit of a nightmare. God love him. But being in nursing, and my mum was a nurse as well, and my sister's a midwife, it was really difficult because you see it from both sides. You see it from personal family side, and then you see it like medicinal, and it's really hard to decipher between the two because you want the best for them and you want the best care, but actually you have to sit and listen as his granddaughter to what he actually wants. So he might be saying he wanted something completely different, but the nurse in me is like, I want you to know what I want you to do this.
Yeah, that's rough. And then in that process of all of that, you're saying your first relationship was 16, and then you was dealing with that grief of your grandma dying, but you didn't obviously know what you was really going through. And how did that impact your relationships?
I don't think I ever got too close because I watched the pain my granddad went through, and that's something I don't really talk about. And like my parents wouldn't even know that that's how I felt. And I do think it's had a big impact on me, like watching him be on his own for so long, just really sad and heartbroken. And every time we'd speak about it, he'd cry, like unbeknown to him, he'd just well up and he'd cry every time he spoke about her. Didn't matter whether it was like a year after or 10 years after, he still cried. Like even at the end, he was like talking like all these stories, like everything was a story with him. Every time you went there, you learned something new. So I do think it's had an impact, but I wasn't dealing with it myself. And obviously I was engaged and then he left. So abandonment issues was real. And it's taken me probably until the last 6 months to realise that. I always thought it was like maybe depression or just like not being able to make relationships and stuff, but I think it was fear of being abandoned. And I still feel that.
But do you feel now that you're in a place, because what I believe is that we only become great when we actually accept and understand.
Yeah.
I believe that we're in a box when we're unaware of it.
Oh,
so
100%.
Say someone's an alcoholic, they don't realise they're an alcoholic. But the moment that you realise you're an alcoholic, you think, I can either change or not, but I understand what I am. Does that make sense?
The only reason I've been able to figure out who I am is by doing that. So I don't really drink because I don't have the best relationship with alcohol. It's funny you say that, but I don't like who I become when I'm drinking. And that's not to say that I'm Larry or I do anything I just don't like who I am at post alcohol, really. I think that's because it brings a lot to the surface once I've drank, so I just don't. And I think I've self-sabotaged with certain men because I knew it wouldn't last. So I don't need to fear that abandonment because I know it's not going to last.
But do you think like going into a relationship with that mindset is already detrimental because you're going in with the this ain't gonna work anyway?
I mean, I definitely see different now. Like I'm dating to marry now. Like I'm not dating to date. Like I'd want to find somebody that's on the same like wavelength as me now. And my viewpoint on it all now is if it doesn't work out, at least I tried. If I got married and it didn't work out, well, I still gave it my all. That's my mindset. And to have come like a decade on from being engaged to saying, actually, yes, I do want marriage, that's huge because I went through maybe 6 or 7 years of being like, no, I don't want that.
But you don't want marriage?
But I didn't want it. But I think it was all based off the fact that I'd had a bad experience. I'd booked a wedding, I'd tried my dress on, cars were booked, everything, and then it was all whipped out from underneath my feet. It was done. Took the ring. He came for the ring. Do you know what I mean? Like I had it stripped away from me.
What do you mean he came for the ring?
He came for the ring. He knocked my front door and took the ring. Well, he didn't took the ring. I threw it up the drive, but yeah.
Mad. That's crazy. And then let's say after that 16-year-old relationship, you got into, but do you know what I've realised with childhood loves, yeah? Do you believe me that childhood loves is the first time you experience the emotion of love, but not love itself?
I openly say I don't think I've ever been in love.
Do you think so?
I don't think it's ever been reciprocated. I think I've loved, but I don't think I've been loved. So I can't have been in love.
But you know what? That's crazy that you feel like that because I would say it's impossible for you to go all these years without, you didn't feel it,
Yeah.
But they was feeling like they was showing
It's never been shown the way I needed to receive it.
Your love language
is
not what other people reciprocated to you.
But I know why that's happened, because I'm acts of service. So that's how I will give acts of service. Like I want to service like the situation, and those men have just taken. So they've used that love language against me. Whereas I need to find somebody that's reciprocating that service and thanking me for it. But I just haven't got to that yet.
That's sad, man. When I hear people say that, that's sad, because so have you ever been heartbroken? Or do you feel you've been heartbroken in the sense of betrayal? Because there's different types of...
so betrayal, 100%. So, like, I've obviously been through domestic violence and stuff, and those were hard. But when I found out my ex had got a wife, that destroyed me. He never laid a finger on me, because I was in Birmingham, quite isolated, going through lockdown and all these things, and then obviously this man just pops up out of nowhere and he's like cocooned me, and I've got him, and now I've got all his family, and I've got all his friends and his friends' baby moms, and there's kids everywhere, and like I just felt completely like encased by humans all of a sudden. And I was like quite infiltrated with his family. I'd go to his sisters for barbecues, I'd go to his mom's to chill, I'd take his stepdad to hospital appointments, I was chilling with his friends, I was running his friends round, or we were going to parties or whatever, and they all knew. So the violation was tenfold.
Yes and no, because maybe they knew things that you didn't know.
Yeah, maybe, but at the same time, to me personally, you've allowed me to be absolutely besotted with this person. You've allowed me to do all these things for you, but you didn't really need to, because I was a side piece. So I didn't need to be taking him to hospital appointments, and you could have just said no. You could have got a taxi there. You didn't need to infiltrate me like that. And although I can understand why they did...
Did he ever explain everything to you?
So initially he was deny, like completely denial. Like he just pretended like he hadn't been caught out. His friends were all like, we didn't know what to say to you. But I'd noticed some of his friends had dropped back, they'd fallen back. So every time I entered a venue, they'd leave. Or if I came to speak to people, they'd kind of just step back. Like, weren't. And I was saying to him, like, what have I done to annoy him? Like, but they were not like happy with the situation. They were getting to know me more and thinking, nah, we can't do it like that. So they stepped back. But in the end, he just said that he saw me, he said he liked what he saw, he wanted to get to know me, and then it got way more than he thought it was ever going to get, and he didn't want to give it up.
So was it at the end a choice where he had to pick, or did you just leave?
I just left. But he flew to Jamaica. The wife rang me on day one, asking why I was texting her husband saying I missed him.
Oh, his wife was in Jamaica?
They'd gone together.
Okay.
And by the time he got back, his stuff was at his mum's. And I changed the locks.
So he was living with you?
Pretty much.
But how could he live if you had a wife?
She worked nights, I worked days. The violation was... Honestly, I'm not a stupid female, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a stupid female. And there were a couple of times where I'd asked him who this person was ringing his phone, because it was always around the same time at night, in the evening. But he was like, oh, it's just a cousin. And who the hell am I to say it's not? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to walk around living in fear.
So that brings us on to another topic then. Do you think men are naturally polyamorous?
No.
Because that begs the argument that he was actually at one time, before you knew, you was both in happy worlds. And this is what bewilders me with women. He had two women on the go, and they were both happy until they found out about each other. So you could have been if this would have went on for 10 years or 15 years, you was never the side piece.
I'll be real. The real reason, the top reason I was most violated was because he was a Muslim, and I infiltrated myself into that world for him. Like Quran front to back, prayer times, you name it, I was doing it. Ramadan, Eid, I was doing it all.
So why didn't you...
And he was saying to me about rules, and obviously I was asking questions about the Quran and stuff like that, and he was saying I had to be respectful and all these things, and I was really listening to it. I could even have the conversation with my parents about it, and like where it could lead to if we was to get married and all these things. I'd had these conversations. We'd had conversations about what our children would be growing up and things like that. Like, we'd had those conversations. And then I was told that at my Eid presents, he'd said, oh, he'd got them off some homeless person. And like, he wanted me to respect him as this Muslim man which I always would have done. But then number one rule is that I'm supposed to know about another woman. Had you come to me and had that conversation, but you let the embarrassment, probably not, but you didn't even give me the opportunity to hear you out.
So it was more of the embarrassment.
I felt completely violated. I'd gone on all these parties, feeling on top of the world, walking in with my king and all this stuff, and then everyone was laughing at me in my head because he got this other woman. And there were times where I'd been to parties, which I found out afterwards, where I said, "Oh, I'm going to go home," and then she turned up after me. We'd cross paths like that.
Did you ever see her? Did you ever meet her?
I'd never met her.
That's wild.
I know what she looks like. She doesn't know what I look like.
And how long were they married for?
I've no idea. I haven't asked the question. It's absolutely irrelevant.
That you know what's mad about that, yeah, is that if he wanted, he could have 2 wives.
Yeah.
So he could have just made you his wife while he was doing all this, married you quick, and then had you in that. If you wanted to leave, you wanted to leave, but he could have done that, and then had that like that. So yeah, it's mad. But I feel like men are not made to be monogamous.
No, I don't think they are. And that's something I say all the time, and women look at me like I've slapped them with a fish. I don't believe they are. I think you're lucky if you find someone that holds you down and picks you and stays with you. And that's why I think it's so hard for me to find somebody. Because this day and age, it's just I've watched it over the last decade. I've watched it get harder. You know, people talk about, you know, you reach your 30s and you've lost your blah, blah, and all this stuff, but I've watched it get harder. I've felt it get harder.
I feel like we're at the time now where it's extremely difficult. I would never advise a man, if I'm being honest, and this is just my personal opinion, I would never advise a man to like drop everything for a woman. And the reason why I say that is because in this day and age that we're living in, women move on faster than men do.
100%.
In this day and age right now. So I'll be speaking to a girl, everything be going well. 2 weeks later, something happens. I was like, I'm gonna block you. It's like we feel like we could just block out memories. But I've always said to myself, what's the long-term effect of keep blocking people out but building connections with them? It's called something called soul ties.
Yeah.
And soul ties, as much as people don't like to believe this, it's actually real. The more you give out your energy to different people in the world, the more people have a piece of you that you will never be able to return. So imagine I'm a man and I've got 20 women and 20 women have a piece of me. I love this one, but I love that one. But then I love that one. But then I love this one. Oh, but my mind is muddled in emotions rather than focused on goals and objectives.
I really struggle with that as well because I'm the type of person that will give you my all from day one. I'm not going to hold my cards back, and I'm not going to not show you certain things. I'm going to show you exactly who I am. Because what have I got to lose by doing that? But then I run the risk of giving too much.
But I don't think, I will say this, look, you never lose in trying. You always lose by never beginning. So I could have sat there and said, if I start a business, maybe it gets rough, maybe I can't pay the rent, maybe I don't get clients. You see, all of that, that's called pessimism.
Yeah.
I can use that as an excuses to not start a business. Or I can say, flip it. I'm gonna go all in. If it doesn't work, then you know what? At least I can look back and I have no regrets. I don't have no regrets. I know I put my all into this. And I know that if I didn't succeed, I just didn't, maybe this is just not the route for me.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that sit there and think, you know what? I'm gonna go into this, but because I give too much, everyone's going to abuse me. I don't even care about that. I feel like having an open heart, regardless of the past, is probably one of the most, for me anyway, most masculine things you can do in the world. Like, I can give my heart again, knowing that it can be broken, but I don't mind. I can give it.
Yeah.
I with my all. And I feel like that's the way that you become a high value man, if I'm being honest, by not being scared.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest and not with the sarcastic laugh.
No, because there's too much definitions of what they think it is. So I've got my own definition like everyone else does. But
you see, what I might class as a high value man might not be what my best friend classes as a high value man, and that's the beauty of that.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have their own ideologies of what they believe is.
I was having a conversation with a friend the other day and she was saying to me, I'm talking to too many people, like I'm on Tinder and I'm on this and I'm on that. I said to her, but if you talk to somebody and they don't see your worth and don't do anything with that, and you remove that person, and then you match with somebody else that knows that person, and that person tries to ruin it because he says, oh, I used to talk to her. The reality is that you're not a bad person or a woman that's talking to too many people. The reality is that he fumbled the bag, and now he's seeing his friend reap the benefits of actually stepping up. And I've always said dating's a numbers game. You can't, if you're wasting your time with a lack of energy, like you got to move on. You got to, okay, no, like, that's why I believe in speed dating. I think it's a good thing because you're in one room at one time and you can kind of pick out what you want. Dating is the only way you work out what you want and what you don't.
Yes and no. I say yes and no because too much of indulgence in anything is bad.
Yeah, 100%.
So if I'm eating too much food, as much as I need food, if I drink too much food, I'm going to become sick. If I drink too much water, I'm going to keep going to the toilet. So everything is good, but in moderation.
Yeah, 100%.
So if I'm speaking to 50 girls, me personally, I could never do that. And the reason why I would never even put myself in it, not because I'm the best man out there, it's because I've actually got business things that I need to focus on. I've actually got projects and stuff that I'm involved in that it requires 100% of my brain, or else I will fumble the bag, the real bag, which is my money. And then when that gets messed up, my life gets messed up. I'm a type of man that I don't feel complete if my money's not right.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not one of them guys that I could be out there sexing 20 gal, but my pocket is flat and I'm living off you. I'm like, yo, Ems, well, let me a tenner, please. I can't do that. Like, my pride is so peaked that I would be going through it hard and you wouldn't even know.
But I can't talk to multiple people either. Like, if I've been on dating sites, it's pointless for me because I get one match and I'm talking to that person. I just stop, that's it.
But I feel like that's the best way because I remember years back, my brother just said to me, cut off all the girls and you'll find the one. That's what he said to me, you know. He said, cut off all the girls and you'll find the one. He said, while you're chatting to 20 girls, you will never find the one because you feel like you got too much options.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, there's some men that don't have any options and there's some men that have too many options. And remember what I said? Moderation.
Yeah.
So I don't want too much options. I don't want too much. I'm going to keep everything restricted to just what I can have and what I can handle. So
I've built my life as well, like now. So obviously I'm working a lot of hours and I've just finished uni, so that's freed up a bit more time, and my hobbies take me out of the city. And I think I'm living a life now where for me to give that time that's very limited is even more stressful because I don't want to waste it. Like at the same time as where I'm like, oh, it'll come. Like I'm 31 with no kids. And that's not a bad thing, but how long do I sit and be like, oh, it'll come?
No, I'll be honest, this is the last year. This is the last year for you. I'm being honest. This is it. I'm not keeping it 100. This is the last year. You better make some indecisive decisions this year because 32, 33, 34, they fly.
And I know this.
No, but I'm saying like, you don't know where they're gone. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Man's at the age where I'm like, bro, I'm 37, wait a second. Where did 30 what? I don't know where they're gone.
And all I get is, oh yeah, but you don't look 31. No, but my body is 31.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's
I
so
can
stressful.
tell you right now that I can't even play football how I used to play football. As soon as I get an injury, my knee gone for 6 months. I'm all limping for the next 2 weeks. Before, I could go and kick my leg 100 times. I kick brick walls. Nothing. Now I'm feeling the pain. So don't let people lie to you and be naive to
but these people that are saying this to me have got kids. And I always say to them that the pressure's off for you. You could look for someone to date, cool. I need to look for more than that.
No, 100%. You need to be looking for a life partner.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes people mistake what a life partner is. A life partner is your best friend.
Literally.
So I think a lot of people forget this, you need that, you need this. Are you my best friend? Can I call you when things are going bad and can I call you when things are going well? Are we going to be able to drive from here to Scotland?
I'm doing that in 2 weeks.
And we're just busting jokes.
Yeah.
Man's all, I all knocked out like this. And you're just driving, looking at me, and like, babes, I'm tired. All right, let me drive now. And you're just like, do you know? Blah, blah, blah. And you're telling me one long story, and we're just laughing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more important, regardless of what the person is. I feel like that's the most important thing to have in a relationship.
I've always, obviously, my therapy that I've been through now, I don't really look for love, if that makes sense. I don't want to look to fall in love That's not how and people will look at me and they think, what? But like, I want to find my person. And what I mean by that is, having been through everything that I've been through and all the unsafety and insecurity and threats and pain, I just want to be looked after. I don't want, like, love comes after. I need you to look at me and think, I want to look after her. That you make me feel like that, you'll get more from me. If I feel safe in your company, you're getting more from me.
Safe financially, because safety to women means two things. It can mean safe emotionally or safe financially. So when safety to me is not just one thing for a woman, like protecting. People think protecting is just, I'm physically there and I'm gonna, any man that walks to you, babes, I'm gonna punch him right in the nose. That doesn't mean protection.
That wouldn't make me feel safe.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it wouldn't, because you think one day you might turn and
yeah, exactly.
Me. But I'm saying protection for a woman is being able to protect her peace.
Yeah.
Protect her financially. You know
So I think all women need financial safety with men. I don't. If a woman said to me, "Oh, I don't need to be financially secure with my," I'd laugh at them. I think it's an absolute. I think it's the biggest lie women say, that they're not bothered by what men earn. It's a lie. I'm telling you now, that is a lie, and I'm speaking on all women there, so they can argue in the comments all they want, but you don't want no broke ass man. I'm telling you now. There's nobody that's going to sit there and say, you know, when people say, "Oh, you know, I'll look after a man whilst he builds his thing," yeah, but for how long? Like, you're not going to do that for long term. Nobody's going to do that long term.
But all right, give you this scenario now. Say you was with a man and he always took care of you, but now he's gone through a time in life where he's tried to become an entrepreneur and it's not really working out. And you as a woman, you're watching it not work out for him, but he's not. He's a continuous. He's like, it's gonna work, babes. Because I was watching a movie once. I can't remember what movie it was, man. Basically, this guy was trying to make this light. What movie was it? It was a sick movie. And for years he was with this woman, yeah? Through her whole life, yeah? He kind of took her from she was younger. What movie was this, man? But basically, the light boss. But guess what? When the light boss, the woman got a divorce from him because she was doing everything.
Yeah.
Then now he's got all this money. He gave her money. What is it called? The Diaries of a... No, that's not, man. What is it called? Angry. She was angry, but she done a madness to him because she's saying, I was there for you through everything, and then you went and married this other woman.
Yeah.
When you boss, but she killed the woman. It was a mad movie. Yeah, it was a mad movie. It's called something like Anger or Hinged or something. I can't remember, but the film was sick because she was saying, I gave my whole life to you for you to do me like this.
I think that's a conversation though, isn't it? Like, if you're together long term and your mum wants to try something cool, but like if it negatively impacts myself or the family or us as a unit, there has to be a deadline on that. And you have to see past your pride and goals and tick list of things you want to achieve to protect what you've already built.
But I say I was a millionaire and I had 2 women already, and I'm like, look, I like you. You're going to join the roster. Would you do that? If he's a millionaire though.
And people throw caps at me on other podcasts and all sorts, but I couldn't do it.
Why not?
Because I've been cheated on, and I just want to be picked.
That's deep. She wants to be.
I want to be chosen because I'm not an option. You have to have me. I'm not letting you slip through my fingers. I'm not giving you a quarter of me. I'm going to give you 100%.
Do you think that's realistic?
No, I don't think it's realistic.
How did she answer that so fast? I didn't even get to the end of my sentence, you know. But this
is why I'm my own worst enemy. I want the fairy tale. Whatever that fairy tale looks like, I want my human. And I'm either going to end up 80 with 7 cats or I'm going to find it. But
I generally believe that we are our realities. So whatever we believe inside of our minds becomes our reality eventually.
My worst nightmare is either 1, ended up alone, or 2, having kids with the wrong person. And what I mean by the wrong person is...
I think everyone's had problems.
Yeah, but what I mean by that is I don't care how bad it has to get if we split. I just want I want to know you're going to be there for my children. Forget me. I don't need you to be there for me. It'd be great if you were. And it would be great if I could rely on you, because I don't want to be talking about my stress or my emotions about our kids to another man. I don't want that. I don't want to have to take my children's life and have to vent to another person. You should be there for me for that. But I want someone that will, even if the worst came and we had to split, you're going to still choose our kids. You can't continue to choose me anymore because that hasn't worked out, but you've got to choose our kids. And that scares me. I don't want to have to bring my children up knowing that they've been abandoned by their dad, and then I know what abandonment feels like.
But do you believe me that every time we get with somebody, it's a risk?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's a risk that, I'm being honest, like, I'm not saying anyone out there go out and do it, because you don't want that pain of not being able to see your children, or in a woman's sense of the man running and cutting. But I feel like it's all a risk. If you're not willing to take that risk, you will not end up and reap the benefits of the reward. Forget the man for a second. I'm saying just being a mother and having motherhood and seeing that little seed grow inside you and then come out and then grow up, and then you see them smart and they're walking and they're talking and they're telling you, "Mommy, I love you," and like that love that you get if you have a little boy or a little girl. And forget the other person for a second. It's mainly for you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like children come to bless our lives in different ways.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, oh man, if I could tell you certain things that I've seen and felt through my life, emotions. I've never met an emotion like seeing my daughter smile and tell me that she loves me. I've never felt love until she said that to me.
It's hard because I lost a child. So I've felt that love.
But when you say lost, is it like you was pregnant?
Yeah.
You didn't go full term, or did you have a stillbirth? Because it's too.
No, I miscarried, but
Okay.
I felt that, and I think probably a part of me is a little bit scared to feel that again.
But then you can't let that hold you back.
No, I'm not saying that.
My friend's wife, I'll never forget this. When he got with her, she said, "I've got one. I think what is it? One ovary, and she had a boyfriend for 10 years." And they could not have children. So she said to him, "There's a chance that I might not be able to have children for you." So he came to me and said, "Look, what should I do? Should I marry this sister? Because like I love her, she's nice, everything. But she's telling me this." I looked at him and I said, "Bro, whatever she had with him is not what she has with you. You might be the guy that when your thing hits hers, it's a straight pregnancy." Bro, about a month later, he came to me, he said, "I got the best news." I said, "Don't say it." "Don't say it." You know me, I'm a gas man. I'm like, "Don't say it, bro. Don't say it, bro. Don't say it, bro. Don't say it, bro. Don't say it, bro." Yeah! I'm that guy. I'm that happy guy for you.
Yeah.
Like, I was over the moon. And I think that's why he told me, because he knew I was going to be over the moon. Because he told me the situation prior.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Bro, you even been married for like a month yet?" He's like, "Yeah, I know, man." I'm like, "Bro, he's got 4 children."
Yeah.
They got 4 children.
I don't think it's a case I'm scared. It's like now I've been through therapy and I'm like a much better place, and I have messages daily saying, "Oh my God, it's been so amazing to watch you grow and come back to life, and I'm loving who you are now." And it's like, as much as I don't need that, like it's great to be sort of not validated in my growth, but it's nice that it's seen. Like I'm at a point now where I'm nervous to replace all those bad memories. I'm nervous to find something that is going to be real, and I'm nervous to have a child, and because it's all going to come from a good place because I'm a better woman. It's a scary place to be. Like I know I'm so close to finding it. I mean, like I can't even explain to you like the couple of men I've met. It's so close to what I need, but there's just something not connecting. So I know that better men are now approaching me, but it's just.
I genuinely believe that better people approach you when you become better inside yourself. That's why my main slogan for most of the young boys is work on yourself and become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And stop chasing and start attracting.
Yeah.
There's a difference between chasing and attracting. I will never chase anything that is for me. I don't even chase money.
Yeah.
Money comes to me. Obviously, I put in the work because preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? So you prepare. So someone says to me, "Look, I need a space, but I've already got it all sorted. Look, everything's sorted. I've got a wedding I need to film. I've got the cameras. I've got everything.
Yeah.
I got the microphones. I'm prepared."
Yeah.
So when the opportunity arises, I'm the first there.
Yeah.
And I'm the last to leave.
A lot of people say to me like, "Oh, I can't believe you've gone from being this very broken human to sitting on podcasts talking," but this helps me grow further because.
You're not wait, stop. Let's just put this out there. We're all broken.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's just put this out there to the world, because I think people feel like they're better than you because you went through certain things and they never went. We're all broken in our own ways.
Yeah.
Just a lot of us haven't even done the actual healing process. So I hate when people look at other people and say they're broken. I never like to call people broken.
Yeah.
Unless they actually exuberate emotions of brokenness, like they come in and they start moving crazy.
I don't think I ever broke. I think I just became numb. Like I just stopped.
That is dangerous as well because...
Oh God, I didn't feel anything. Yeah. I didn't care. Someone could have punched me in the face and I wouldn't have even reacted. Damn. It got that bad, right, that when my car was stolen, which I was talking to you about, I didn't react. And this was only a couple months back. So when this grief hit me, and then I was like, oh, your car's gone. I rang the police, yeah, my car's been stolen. They were like, huh? I wasn't like, oh my God, my car. I was like, yeah, this is where I am. I cried once I rang my mum.
That's when everything sunk.
And then I've literally just finished uni and I clicked submit on my last, my dissertation. And I'm not joking. I got up, I put my laptop down, I opened the cupboard and a card fell out and it was my granddad's Christmas card. And I opened it and I lost it. And I didn't even care that I was having this emotional meltdown. I was actually just happy that I was crying. I was happy that I was feeling. And then... like, I'm not even joking, within the last 2 weeks, I just feel more, not I wouldn't say like myself because I don't want to go back to being that person, but I just feel like alive. I feel...
Tears are good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been told this, but my granddad said, tears are not meant to stay. He said it in a Jamaican accent. He says, yo, tears are not meant to stay in your eyes. They're meant to come out. And them staying in your eyes, them go back in your head and them hurt your head. And I thought, you're right, you know. Every time I've had tears in my eyes and I tried to hold it, my head's hurt. Why are you letting your head hurt? Because it's a sign that it's meant to come out. You're meant to feel emotion.
It was a really difficult few months. I was very blessed to be with both my granddads at the very end of their life. I sat with them for hours. I didn't leave their side until their time to depart came. And I was able to do with them what I'd missed with my nan because I missed her dying. So I felt like I'd healed from that process because I was able to give them exactly what they wanted at the very end of their life. And I then had to finish uni. And I sat on my deathbed and promised them that I was going to finish uni. And then I had to finish uni. And it was like dealing with all these emotions whilst trying to write assignments. And I was thinking, I'm never going to get this done. So I had to just literally physically pick up what had happened, put it in a box, put it in the cupboard and carry on with uni. So when I hit submit and I shut my laptop, it was like the cupboard door fell open. And everything came pouring out. But I feel better already. But it's like those times there where like you're with your family and things have all gone wrong. And my grandma, when we lost my granddad at Christmas, she said, oh, it's just me and you, the loners now, because she takes the mickey that I'm single. But like my mom would go home to my dad, my sister would go home to her partner, my cousin would go home to her husband, my auntie would go to her husband. I go home to an empty house. Who am I venting to? Who am I crying to? I'm staying strong for the whole family. I've always been the rod of our whole family. Like I've always been the strong one, the one that will say what needs to be said, even if it's difficult to hear. Like when my grandma said that she didn't want him to go into a home, I said, there's no choice, he has to. Like there's no, like you can't look after him at 87 years old. It's absolutely not happening. And I become the bad guy for a little bit, but then when I leave, I can't breathe because I've got no one to vent to. And it's really difficult.
Do you know what they say? Who saves the heroes? So the heroes always save the day, but who saves them when they go through problems? But do you know what? I believe that people that have that same exuberate, that same quality that you just said, they're like walking angels on earth. Those are the people that in the later years of their life, a lot of good things keep happening to them. Yeah. And people always wonder how. They always ask, how? And you're just thinking, and you might, because your heart's so clean, you don't even remember sometimes you do good for people. Yeah. I'm the type of person, I've done good for people, and they've turned around and said, do you remember that time you done it? I'm like, no. But you don't realise that you being that person in life in general is actually, you're giving back to the world, to the universe, all of that. So keep being that person, no matter what. I know
I have an impact like that. Like I'm not sheltered from that. Like I'm very aware of that. And I think sometimes it can work against me when I invest too much of my time into everybody else and forget about me.
Don't be a candle for others while burning out your self.
Exactly. And I think my best friend, I've not known her that long, but we just connected and that was it. Like we've been through very similar things. And she's an anxious person. I always say to her, I'm going to put on your gravestone, should we worry about it? Like, you know, I always say, should we worry about that? Or should we just get on with it? If you spent half the time doing stuff than worried about it, you know, we'd be a bit further on in life. And I always say this to her, but I've seen her grow through my help. Like I'm saying to her, no, we're not worried about that. Move on. Like get rid of him. Like we're not doing that. And her goddaughter, her daughter's my goddaughter, but unofficially I'm like a fairy godmother, she calls me. But it's like my turn now. And I've said to all my friends and my family, like, don't expect as much that you're used to from me, because I can't give it to you. You know, and I'm very blessed that my friends understand that. I've cut a lot of long-term friends off recently.
I had to do something not like what you're saying, but similar. And the reason Mina's good, but my situation was different. I done it on the basis of I gave so much to the world that one day when I needed it, nobody was there. And then I thought, damn, son.
Well, that's exactly what happened to me with both my granddads.
I said, raw, like, I've been there bro, I've done everything for everyone. And one time I needed you people to stand up tall for me, everyone sat down.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it affected me to make me a better person, but it just made me realise I need to really pour into myself more than I pour into anyone else. I
really have, on the flip of like abandonment stuff, I have an attachment issue. Like if I attach myself to something, I need that to stay. And obviously it goes hand in hand.
There's actually a terminology for it, but yeah, go on.
But people think I'm nuts, but I think my granddad got my car stolen. Because I loved that car. That car was my safe space. It was where I'd sit at night when I got home from work and I was I just needed a minute, and I was so attached to it. I loved that car and it was gone. And it got items of his in the car and my grandma's walking sticks and very personal items in the car, and I was not getting it back. There was no way that car was coming back to me. So I had to let it go, and I think that was a very big lesson for me. Like, I just think these things happen for a reason. Yes, okay, it was very difficult. And those people that will sit and watch this podcast, because they watch them all, that have no longer heard from me or can't contact me, it's because when I needed you most and I was completely broken, having to deal with 2 funerals, 2 wakes, all that stuff, you weren't there. All the times I've listened to all your crap, every single thing, all the men, all the drama, all the baby fathers, you name it, I've been there 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, picking you up from here, you weren't there. In fact, a friend who I've recently just cut off without even an explanation shared that my car had been stolen on her Instagram and never messaged me to see if I was all right. Like, what kind of behaviour is that?
That's weird.
It's clout. It can't be anything else. If you're going to post up on your Instagram about your friend having her car taken from her and you're not going to check in on that friend, it can't be anything other than attention on your Instagram. And my friendship's worth less than that. Nah, gone. Like I can't be around anymore. And that in itself shows me that my attachment issue is gone. Because that's friend over 10 years.
Do you know what? I respect that, and a lot of people won't understand it, but I respect you saying that that you've met new people and they're closer to you than the other people that you had before. And I feel like there's nothing wrong. I always say this, but this is just one of my quotes that I always say. Never let loyalty make you a slave of time. Mm-hmm. So I could have known you for 20 years, but see, if you're not acting right now, I need to cut you off.
Yeah.
Not to say there's no bad blood. There's not no hate. There's no evil. I just don't need you around me at this moment.
I wish you well, but from afar.
Because where I'm at now in my life, like I know there's certain things, certain people I can't keep around me in general because of the corporate circles that I'm in and maybe the eyes that are probably watching me. I've got to be kind of clean cut, normal, civilian looking. I can't have anyone around me that looks particularly suspicious on the basis that if I get caught in certain arenas, then I could lose more than what you could ever think. Yeah. And for me, it's not worth it. I'm at that point in my life where certain things are just not worth it.
I'm very blessed. Like my best friend, I'm very, very blessed with her. Like she is literally an angel that walked into my life. Now, despite the fact that she's slightly behind me in her healing journey, because we're very similar, if I'm quiet, it isn't, oh, you haven't reached out, or she won't even bring her mental health stuff to me. Because if I'm going through stuff, she'll go to her friend or a cousin or a mum or whatever. She won't even bring it to me. There's been times where my goddaughter has been ill and I've been dealing with something with the family or a death or whatever, and she's told me 2 days later and she's dealt with it all on her own. Like she hasn't even, and I've gone then mad thinking, well, why haven't you told me? But she knows I can't take anything else on it. It'll be like the last Jenga piece knocking the whole thing off. She's just so, I'll tell her when the time's right. And I'm very blessed to have people in my life that are like that. Because I know I'm a complex character. Like I have post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a mental health condition for life. And
I think we all got PTSD.
trust me. And I know that inevitably that's going to impact the people that are around me. So I'm very blessed to have people that
How does
understand.
that affect your relationships? For me personally, I'm just like, I'm out with you and I'm just constantly watching my back. You might think, why is he looking at everyone like this? I am literally, because of stuff that I've been through in my life, I'm constantly aware of my surroundings. I'm always like looking around. You might think, why is I was always wondering, he's looking at women? I am not looking at women. I couldn't care less when I'm out. I'm looking to see if there's people that I don't know. I'm just very aware of my surroundings. That's why people see, if I catch like, and because like I've got this like internet, whatever, yeah, it's like I'll be somewhere and someone will be looking at me and I'll be looking at them. And then obviously they might be looking at me to say, raw, rare talks. But in my mind, I'm like, why is he looking at me like that? Is he alright? Is everything blessed? And then I'll approach that person and be like, hey, you're right, yeah? I was like, yeah, man, I'm cool, man. I see your thing. I said, oh, yeah, Fabes, love, man, love that.
You start breathing again.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right, cool, it's just this. It's nothing, anything else. So I feel like PTSD for me, that's how it looks. But how does PTSD look for you in a relationship?
So I get more sensory stuff than anything. Sensory tends to trigger me. So if I have too much noise or too much like senses are all being triggered at the same time, which is mad because I work in mental health, but so in the past when I've been dating somebody, it's little things like I'm on the sofa and like stroking my, and after a while I'm like, get off me, like I get oversensitized, and then it's like learning to regulate those emotions around it. But actually I don't think I'm too concerned about how it will affect a relationship because it's not what you'd think it is for me. Like it's not, I'm not scared to get hit, or I'm not scared to be with a man that's violent, or I'm not scared of any of that. Like I wouldn't be with someone like that, but that doesn't, I'm not like, traumatized from it. It's being completely panicked. So those times in that very violent relationship, it was in the moment of it happening. That's the panic, that's oversensitized, like the sheer panic, and that's how I feel when I'm oversensitized.
Okay.
So it's not for me like an instance will trigger me. It's when when that senses rise and heighten, that's when I go into panic mode. So I just try. I'm quite a distant person, but then at the same time, if I trust you, I'm so loving.
Distant meaning you're very you're not into touch.
I am, but I have to trust you. But it's meeting that middle point of when you've met somebody new, to let them in enough to see it or to hold them back. Like I think that's where it affects me the most, is the starting point, because I can come across quite cold, but it's not. It's just I'm trying to figure out whether I want to trust you with my peace. And that's it. Like I can't, and I think that's where I've tripped myself up a little bit.
No, it's not. Let's not say that. That's you creating boundaries, healthy boundaries, to protect yourself. Because I feel sometimes we don't realize I've got so many boundaries that if crossed, I just don't really play them. And it's not even zero tolerance. I just believe that we should all have boundaries in general. The reason why people get away with madness around you is because you're not respecting your own boundaries. Like, you know, there's certain things that you just won't go for, and there's certain things that I won't go for, but we'll still try for the sake of trying sake, and then end up both hurt. So me, I'm not playing them. If I got boundaries, if you cross them unwillingly, unknowingly, that's it. I expect you to, at the beginning, make my boundaries drop, so that you're not doing anything to go against them. You're doing everything to go for them. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. I like that.
I used to be the type of person where I'd be like, I've got PTSD, I'm looking to marriage, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I need you to do this, I say nothing now. Nothing.
Just leave them to see. That's the smartest way.
I need someone to invest in me that much. They say, is there something going on? And I say to them, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's when someone's in tune with your soul. But the only way someone can get like that is if you give them access to that. See, I can't access your soul unless you give it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
And that's why I'm saying middle point. It's like, I'm asking for all these things, but am I actually really letting them be accessed? And that's where I'm at right now.
So fear. You're suffering from fear.
I wouldn't say I'm scared.
No. Scared and fear, two different things. Scared is like an emotion in that moment. Fear is like you fear the unknown. So you fear, maybe I get with someone. Because look, there's a lot of fear. You said, I fear having a child with someone and then the wrong person. But I'm telling you, everyone's the wrong person.
I would say fear,
in the general, in the sense of everyone's the wrong person if it does not work.
Yeah.
Everyone's the wrong person if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, we're all wrong if it doesn't work. But if it does work, then you're the right person.
Yeah.
But how do we know that if we don't make it work? So, yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough out here. It's hard, right?
But I'm not like spent so many years ashamed of it all. I don't care if I have to admit I'm fearful of things going wrong. That's life.
I feel like living in your truth is a very admirable quality, and I say this. I admire people that live their truth.
Yeah.
Because it took me years to be able to do that. I think the first year, second year of lockdown, I said, yeah, that's it, man. Anything that I want to do, I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it with my chest. And no one can tell me nothing. And I'm going to be able to say everything about myself. And I don't even care what you people think.
Yeah, this has been the most freeing. Like, my first podcast was just before Christmas, and I've outdone myself, really. I didn't even think I was going to make it through the first one. So, like, to be able to have opportunities to drive out of the city and to other places and do it is, like, amazing for me. But it's so freeing to just say, actually, do you know what? You all wondered why I was the way I was? Here's why. And hear it. You're going to hear it from me now. And people DM me and they're like, I can't believe I was friends with you and I didn't even know that was happening. Or, I'm so sorry that I missed that. Or, you know what? Back then I used to think you were a bit of an idiot, but now it all makes sense. Or people that were friends with my ex would say, you know what? I always thought there was something wrong with that person, and he always used to make you out to be the crazy one, but now it all makes sense, and I'm so sorry you went through that. And sometimes those little things just put you back together that little bit more. Because I think I was embarrassed about going through all that stuff.
Why?
Now I just think, I survived that.
That's the right word, survivor, not victim.
Nah, I hate that.
Being a victim, you can never grow.
For me personally, my interpretation of domestic violence victim is you didn't make it out.
Real talk.
To be a victim in any other sense would be to not exist. So even if you're at your lowest point, you're still surviving, you're still existing. Doesn't matter whether it's a good existence or a bad existence. And I've only really, in the last 5 years, kind of flipped my tune on that, because I always thought I was victim. But as long as you're in that victim mindset,
you're never gonna you're never gonna grow. You've got to get to the point where you say, I'm a survivor, and a soul survivor as well, because you survive something that other people's souls wouldn't even be able to survive. So I feel like that mindset and that change of language, I always try to make people change their language when they're sitting on my couch. I always make people change the words that they use against themselves. Yeah. Because someone will be like, yeah, I failed. I'm like, you never failed, bro. You're successful. You're here. You don't fail if you're here. This is not the failures couch.
I know I've changed, because even in the last 6 months, I think I've grown the most, like a rate of knots, basically, is if I don't pass this assignment, so throughout the whole of uni, I've passed everything first time, and it was like, I've got to pass. If I don't, and I somehow just slip the grade a little bit, I've got time to resubmit, and I'm completely cool about that. Because if I don't pass this, well, I've just dealt with 2 deaths, a car being stolen, and everything else that's been going on. It's not the end of the world. And for me to sit here and say that it blows my mind, because I think normally I'd be so like, oh my God, I've got to do this, and if I don't, I've failed and I'm a failure. And it doesn't matter. I've got time to fix it.
There's no such thing as failure. Why you got breath in your lungs, you're not a failure.
100%.
You're a winner. You might have reached obstacles, but they don't mean fail. Yeah. I've took so many L's that I don't even call them L's anymore. I call them learning lessons.
Yeah, lesson or a blessing.
Yeah, learning lessons. I've learned and I've been taught lessons. Yeah. Some valuable lessons, and I've been taught a lot about life in general. But I've never actually took an L. If I really want to be honest with everybody out there, I haven't. Because if it looks like I've not succeeded in what I've tried a different way, and that's succeeded. Or me just trying to even do that, I'm not realizing how inspirational I am to the people that I came from. People are looking at me like, bro, like, how do you put in so much work? And I'm looking like, I don't even think that I do that much. This is where perfectionist mindset comes, and it's dangerous to have this kind of mindset. They say all greats have it, but it's just not a great thing to have, because you're constantly doubting yourself. And I remember I just recently found out what that is. It's called the imposter syndrome. So the imposter syndrome is when you just never feel like you're good enough, but you're doing everything. Yeah. Like, it's not like I'm sitting back doing nothing. and then saying that, because then that makes sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I'm doing everything, and I'm doing above and more, and it's like I'm not seeing the same. I always aspire to be like the best. So if I'm not hitting that benchmark, I'm like, I'm not doing well enough. What do I need to do? I'm thinking, what do I need to do? People will think that I'm weird if they saw the things that I actually watch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching how to make videos like this. What kind of cameras do I need? Like, I'm in some different type of realm of thinking. Like, people be like, oh, how do you know this does this? And bro, I've been researching for months. While you people have been sleeping, I've probably been watching videos non-stop, like a weirdo, watching from beginning to end a 30-minute video about this microphone does this, and this is why this one's a good one to have. But I feel like I've never wasted time in it. I've always been trying. Does it make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm exactly the same though. If I start something, I have to either continue in the same rate or finish it. Like I go from one extreme to the other. Like this hiking thing, like when I started hiking, it was just, I think one day I remember it was like peak of the summer, and we literally was on the phone to my mum, and I thought, stuff it, I'm going out. I put my shorts on, which was a wild in itself because I don't wear shorts. And it was a wild day. It's a wild time.
She said I don't wear shorts.
I mean, I do now, but back then, hell no. But yeah, threw my shorts on, threw my trainers on, and I ended up in the Malvern Hills, which is just outside of Birmingham. And it was like 32 degrees. And when I tell you I burnt so bad. But I hiked this massive hill, and that was it then. So then I've got to do it all, and then I just done Snowdon for charity, and in 2 weeks I'm driving to Scotland with a tent by myself because I'm a weirdo. Look at your face. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. This is the reason why white people go missing in the Ross Clark woods. What do you mean you're going to Scotland with a tent by yourself? Does this girl... Have you not been seeing what's been going on in the news? All of these women going missing and all this crazy stuff. Are you all right?
I'm going to campsites. I'm not going to a field in the middle of nowhere.
I don't care where you're going. This is how scary movies are made.
Well, if I do go missing, then the last exclusive was with you, so I'll make you famous. You hear it from here.
I don't want to hear you guys missing. What do you mean? Like, people will start investigating me. Like, did you take her up to Scotland?
So there's this theory, right? So I've been researching too. So there's this theory, right? So if you can spend 5 days or more alone in your head without being with a friend or family member, like it's like a next step in healing, basically. So
No.
So that's
extreme. You're going to the extreme.
No, I'm not going to the extreme.
That's extreme.
No. So
in a camp on. Wait, hold up. Say that again. Tell everyone again. No, we need to hear this again. Say that again.
What I'm going to do?
Yes.
So I'm driving to Scotland.
Yeah.
I've got bucket list things that I want to do. So
Okay.
I've got to climb Ben Nevis.
No problem. Go on. Stop giving us them and give us how you going to do it. She's going to drive to Scotland by herself. Yeah. She's getting a tent.
I've got a tent.
Oh my God. We need to make some...
My mom's having kittens. I'm going to vlog it so that you can put the clips back in.
Wait, hold up. And then you're sleeping in this tent for 5 days alone?
Yeah. Well, it's actually 9, but... I'm not in Scotland the whole time, though. It's a road trip. So I'm going up to Scotland, I'm doing the Harry Potter train, and I'm climbing Ben Nevis, and then I move to somewhere else in Scotland, and then I'm going to Edinburgh, then down to Gretna Green, Lake District, Peak District. So I'm doing 6 hikes in 6 days, and I'll have done the 3 peak challenge in that time, and ticked off a whole heap of bucket list stuff.
I respect it.
And I've got a very big knife in my camping bag, so...
She said she's carrying that Rambo.
No, it's a cooking knife, but I'm carrying it with me.
You need pepper spray, Rambo knife, get alarm.
So I've got alarms, I've got air tags. My mom's going to have the air tag.
In the forest though.
I'm not going in no forest. I'm going to a town in Scotland called Fort William. It's a town.
These towns are villages. Have you seen the movies when the people are like, hi, and you're like, hello, and then like someone comes out to you where you live and they're like, yeah, I've seen that you're new here. Some inbred looking don that's never seen people from London. Then he just falls in love with you, and every day he's bringing you flowers and leaving cakes outside, and he's like, and on the 5th day he's like, I love you, you're not allowed to leave. Next time you got 4 kids, man hollered at me 6 years later saying, do you remember that podcast? I'm like, what podcast? What?
I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to make sure you all know I'm alive.
That is wild. That is wild. You're wild. You're actually wild. You're actually wild. All right, so we're going to go through 10 fast questions.
Okay.
It's the 10 fast questions round. Rare Talks.
I'm ready.
So, if you could pick a first new name, what would it be?
Amelia.
Ooh. Amelia suits you, though. I ain't going to lie.
Well, I'm Emmy, so...
Amelia, I like that. Are you close to your family?
Yes.
What's your biggest fear in life?
Failing.
What's one crime you would commit if there was no consequences?
Murder.
And we'll be back in 5 minutes on a break. What?
Because I wish I'd saved myself some pain.
Would you date a man who's separated from his wife?
No.
Have you ever been obsessed with someone?
Yes.
Has someone ever been obsessed with you?
Yes.
Would you date a man who has no money?
No.
What's the hardest thing you had to overcome in your life?
Knowing I was good enough.
What's your dream job?
Financial freedom.
But job though?
No job.
Okay. So business, entrepreneur. Okay, cool. So, all right, cool. I hope you lot learn more about her now that you've known that she's
So if there's a man out there that's not married, has some money, not separated from your woman,
she will kill you. That's what she means. So be careful, because you don't want to die out here, yeah?
Listen, I just said I go to the extremes. What's the point of going nicking a £1 chew out of her? Because it ain't a 1p chew anymore, let's be real.
That's mad. If I could commit a crime with no consequences, what would I do? I'd rob a bank.
Nah. You'd spend it and then what?
Yeah, nah, I wouldn't spend it.
Oh, you would. Get out of here.
I'd be doing crazy stuff with that money.
You'd be spending it.
Spending it on good things.
No, I just think sometimes revenge is like, you need it.
You know what? I'm like you, but I'm trying to become better, man.
Oh, I wouldn't do it. I'm not capable of it. Christ.
No, I'm not saying murder. I'm saying like in general, like revenge.
Oh, I don't feel like that now, but at the time I said that because I wish I could have just...
When's your birthday?
8th of May, just gone.
Oh, so you're a May baby like my mum.
I'm a Taurus with a Cancer moon. It's a very, very strong mix.
I don't know about Cancer moons and Tauruses. I just know my mum's born on May 12th and she always says, people that born in me are the best-hearted people in the world.
Go on, mommy.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Well, we are, clearly.
I'm not going to lie, though. Women I've been with have always been born in May.
Am I safe here?
That's weird. But anyway, yeah. Shocking conclusions.
I won't kill him, I promise.
She already said she will. She said that she didn't even hesitate. I woke up, murder. She said it fast. When a woman says something fast, it's from the heart. Don't be fooled. She said murder.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it myself. Like, so I'm not going to say anymore.
Yeah, let's not. Do you like crime documentaries?
Love it.
Why? I've got a theory. Women love crime documentaries because women like to be detectives.
Women are detectives.
No, I mean the best detectives in the world are women.
Well, I don't know. I like watching things to learn. Like when I first went to uni to do my nursing, I used to watch 24 Hours in A&E and I'd write down all the signs and symptoms and put down what I thought it was, and then at the end I'd figure out whether I was right or not.
Yeah, was you getting it right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I think I don't like to watch things that are pointless. I don't really watch a lot of telly like that, but I will watch that where I can learn.
So you never one of them people that watch a whole series with your partner?
The only thing I'll watch front to back is Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? I swear they've released all of them on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the Muppet that pays for it.
What, Netflix?
Yeah.
How much is Netflix now? Like 15 now? Is it 15? Yeah, that's a bump. I remember when it was $7.99. I ain't had a Netflix account myself personally for years.
Well, Harry Potter is like a safe space. It's like a childhood. If I'm having a bit of a stress, I'll whack that on. I can have it in the background, but it's just, yeah.
You like it that much?
Yeah, I think it's just a safe haven for me. I think it's just, yeah.
I think Harry Potter, I think I watched 2 of them, read the book, and was like, nah, I'm not.
I wouldn't say, oh, they're amazing. It's just a safe.
I like Lord of the Rings. That's my thing.
I used to play Lord of the Rings music on my flute at school.
What? They used to play what?
I used to play the music from it.
They still let you play the music from it?
Yeah, I used to
young.
get. Yeah, they like you release, like orchestra stuff. I used to be in an orchestra.
You used to be in an orchestra?
Yeah.
Doing what?
Playing the flute.
She had you in the flute mobile. That means you can control your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, because playing the flute is about breath, you know, like breathing.
Yeah.
I remember one time I tried it, they're like, you're not breathing right. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You just have to blow, bro. They're like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Breathing through this and do this.
I was very good, and then obviously you get to like 16, 17, it's not cool anymore, and let it all go.
Yeah, that is not cool. If you came around me and was playing a flute, I'd look at you like you're trying to summon some demons or something. I'd be nervous. I'd be like, what are you on? That is weird. What's your views? All right, so current topics, just before we end. Current issues. I always do current issues. What's going on in the world? Philip Schofield.
I feel like we've got a lot more to come out about that.
But right now, because you know he's doing the media. I call it the media run. Like he's trying to like everything that's been happening has been very orchestrated. I don't know if you've noticed it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he quit this morning. Put a statement out, then he's protecting this person, then he said this about...
I'll be real, I never really believed it from the get-go when he came out as gay. Like, I was like, what? Why would you waste up ITV this morning time for that? I don't get it. What are you hiding? I said that back then.
And that was like, what, 2 years ago? Or 3
Yeah,
years
like,
ago?
whenever it happened, at the time I was thinking, that was a bit weird. Nobody would come out on national television like that. Why are you doing that? What? I don't know.
Because ITV knew he was having an affair.
I think ITV. I really struggled to connect with, like, especially since COVID times as well. I don't watch the news. I can't. You are in control of people's mindset, and you actively choose daily to make people feel sad and pain and see suffering daily. Like, there are 100 million things going right in the world, that small achievements that you make someone's day to get on the news, and you choose to put absolute horrific things on the news. I just don't watch it. I can't, and especially through COVID, because they just lied after lied.
COVID was that's when we all said, you know what, the TV's actually, you know, I had to turn the TV off.
I never watched it.
You see all the news and what's going on. People were like, oh, do you hear what happened? You only could go out like this. I'm like, bro, I'm living a normal life.
I used to be fighting with Boris Johnson on the TV, through my TV like a nutter, like shouting at him. Are you mad? No, I had to turn it off. I had to stop. I was losing my mind.
I said at one time, this stuff doesn't make no sense to me. And then people was like telling me about vaccine, and I remember the conspiracy theorists were saying, there's going to be a vaccine that comes out. You know your brethren that are conspiracy theorists, and they send you all the maddest stuff to read and watch.
Ding, ding, ding.
And I'm like, I didn't want to go to any extreme. I wanted to like be neutral so I don't get super affected. Yeah. Because I got put on furlough, so I think everybody was in lockdown in 2020.
Apart from me.
Oh, because you're a nurse, innit? Yeah. That's bad, man.
What I'll say about that is I just sort of, I'm not going to go into my opinion on that. Whatever that was very serious, and it killed a lot of people. Whether I believe it was what it was, I don't know.
So you saw people dying?
Oh, yeah.
How did that, all right, seeing so much people die, did it make you numb? Because I know there was I was speaking to, I got licked off my bike because I ran bikes, and not like motorbikes, right, mopeds, motorbikes, everything. And one day, I got licked off. Well, yeah, I got licked off, I don't care. And the ambulance woman...
He took an L.
The ambulance woman come here, and she said to me, I was like, oh man, do you not see this a lot? They're like, no, we see more stabbings. But they said it so casual. I'm like, what, how much people you seen die? They said, about 5, 6, 7. I'm like, well, doesn't it affect you? She's like, after the first one, it's not really that bad. And I'm like, damn, son, like working in this kind of industry,
it's hard.
You become desensitized.
I'll be real, like when my granddad passed recently, this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but I hope you get what I'm saying to it. I was glad I was able to feel in that moment and be there in that moment, because I was a human with my granddad. Whereas I've dressed and done all these things with people that have passed away, and I've felt nothing. In fact, my way of dealing with it is I'll still talk to them as if they're still alive. That's how I deal with it. So to be able to be with my granddad at the end of his life and feel what you're supposed to feel when someone is dying was like, I felt very lucky, because in my job, it's just
That's wild, you know. Because, I was telling them, and my friend saw my friend die, innit? And I got a phone call after, and the way it affected me, I was thinking, how did that affect you, man? That you was there and you saw him get shot, you know what I'm saying? And he died on the ice, like you saw the blood and you saw him like going away, and like to this day, I don't think a lot of men have actually processed what happened.
I think I work in a lot of elderly care. So to me, it's sometimes a blessing that they get their departure day comes because they've got no life. And I think I get the beauty of making the end of their life very comfortable. Yeah. But I think when I was on placement with uni, we had a cardiac arrest on a ward, and it was the most traumatic thing I've ever been through in my life. At the time, I was like, right, A, B, C, D, we're doing this, we're doing that. Afterwards, I was thinking, like, have I just done that? Like, and I think this is where healthcare is a real risky job to be in, because you internalise it all, because it's your job.
But did they give you therapy and stuff like that for?
I mean, it's there, but who wants to admit you're not coping in a job you chose to do?
That's deep. I didn't even look at it like that. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. So Philip Schofield, like, do you think? Let's get to the real questions. Do you think that was grooming what he done?
Yes.
Because reportedly he met the boy when he was 10 years old. They took pictures and stuff like that, and then he built a relationship from there. He got him a job in the BBC.
I don't even agree with people getting with, you know, like you hear the stories of where family friends have been in the family their whole life, and then the girl gets to a certain age and then they end up having a connection. I don't even agree with that. So that in itself to me is wild. Like, how are you?
I think that's
yeah.
That you're a paedophile. If you're a grown man and you're looking at this little kid and you've seen the kid grow, and then you get to a certain age and you're like, yeah, you're nice, let's get married, you're a paedophile.
I think he's a very twisted individual, and I think a lot more is going to come out about it. And I think he always thought that ITV would protect him, because clearly they've been protecting a lot of people. And that's my interview on This Morning gone.
You know what? I actually want This Morning to change now, because someone said Holly knew more than what she brought on. I think
when you're around certain people, you know what people are about. How can you not be? How many times I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I know people can hide certain factors of their life, but you know people's character. You know what they're into.
It's like doing a podcast of a serial killer every week. Eventually, certain signs would be like, "Are you killing people, bro?" Or like, "Yeah," and you just see.
I was on a sofa a couple of weeks ago with a girl who was let's just call her a working lady in that industry, right? Mm-hmm. And when she got there, I don't deserve a man. I'm not the person you bring home to your mother. By the end of that podcast, she was like, I want to be loved. I don't know why I'm doing this. That was 1 hour. So you get, not I want to say controlled or coerced, but your environment scopes you. So if you're around the right people and the right energy, you'll start to see value in yourself. So she went from being this lady of the night, saying I don't deserve anything, to saying actually I love within an hour of me speaking. So I'm not saying I did that, but all I did was give her the knowledge to keep
going,
like her value.
That's wild, man. When people say that they don't deserve love, I find that a little bit scary. I feel like everyone deserves love.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's any human being that is not deserving of love, except for the people that play with little kids. They don't deserve love. They deserve a bullet.
Murder.
But that's straight.
See, there's reason behind my choice of crime.
That's a straight bullet for them, man. There still, because there's no coming back. And like I said, for Philip Schofield, he said he became his mate. He kept calling the little boy his mate. But I want you to understand something. You as a big 31-year-old woman, would you befriend a 13-year-old boy? 14-year-old boy?
I had a friend at uni. She was in my cohort at uni. She's 21, so I'm 31. She's 10 years younger than me. And we used to we started to socialise and go on nights out together. And I actually withdrew from that friendship, and we didn't speak for a while. We'd recently got back in touch because of certain things going on in her life. But I was going on nights out with her, and I felt like I was controlling her to stop her making the mistakes I'd made at that age. But you've got to let them make them. 100%. So I backed out and I said to her, I can't do this. Like, I need you to go and live your life, basically. And I don't want to be seen to be controlling how you're acting, because I'm trying to save you some pain. Like, you need to go feel it. And even that felt weird to me, having a friend that was 10 years younger than me. That felt weird. If people said, oh, how do you know? I'd say that was my sister. Because I didn't want people to think, like, oh, why is she out with a 31-year-old? Like, I felt that was weird.
Yeah, it 100% is. And me as a big man, I just can't imagine myself around 18-year-old girls and be like, yeah, like, she's my best friend. And it just happened. Like, what? It just happened. Do you know how that sounds? And you know what's the most scariest thing about this, about Philip Schofield has a wife, you know.
You stayed with him?
He has a wife.
They're still worried. They're still, like, what?
And he's got 2 daughters. Wait.
My personal opinion on it, if we're really going to get into it, is that he'd made a mistake, a very bad mistake. And I think it was protected. And when there was risk of it not being protected, it was easier to come out as being gay than it wasn't. I'm not even sure he is, in my head. Like, I don't know whether I buy it. I don't know whether he's just got a fetish that he followed and got caught out.
But, well, so backstory. His brother is a convicted nonce.
Yeah. So I think he got involved and he got caught out. And it's easier to come out as being gay to protect yourself from anything else, because if you like men, then it might disappear. And I think the story's got bigger than him and he's seen no other way. So he leaves ITV. No, you ran, hun.
100%.
You ran.
And we can see you for who you are.
Yeah, 100%. And for like other news presenters or whatever to come out and have interviews and say their piece, they've been waiting a long time to say this piece. I don't know if you've watched Eamon Holmes' interview. Have you watched it?
Who's?
Eamon Holmes. No. Eamon and Ruth that used to do the day that they didn't do it. No. Savage. Said he's toxic. No one liked him. He was a bully. He doesn't know any of the crew or whatever. He wasn't there to help anybody. He just come in, do his thing and leave. The guy who they're on about him being connected to, ITV paid for taxis to come from his house. So they'd come to work at the same time in separate cars from the same place so that it wasn't seen that they were coming from the same house together.
What?
So the guy that he's supposedly groomed was known to stay at Schofield's house, and ITV paid for 2 cars to come from that house.
How could he come from his house if he lives with his wife? He had another house?
Yeah.
That he's grooming, having sex with young boys?
You need to watch it.
This sounds like some horror movie to me now. This doesn't even sound correct, like in any form or shape or form.
When ITV are paying for 2 cars to come from one house to the same studio, you know there's something up. Because why would you not want to be seen together? So it's like me and you leaving here now, and ITV are paid for 2 separate cars to go to the same event. So it looks like we've not come together.
Yeah, that's wild. That's when you're keeping your business on the low. You're trying to keep your business on the low. I wonder how much. They said he was paying 30k to somebody, I think, to the news companies to keep it from coming out. But like, I just feel like there's a lot of TV presenters. There's one guy called Ralph Harris. I don't know if you remember him.
Mm-hmm. He went to prison where my family lived.
Nonce. Jimmy Savile.
They're all protected.
But all these people, and this is going to sound crazy, they've all met the Queen. They've all won awards. So now I'm starting to think, them MBEs, should they be taken away from them? Should they be stripped? Are these people all in it together? Is it some satanic ritual stuff? You get in, you have to do some mad stuff.
I don't.
Where do we end? Where does it end? Does it make sense? Like, I'm now you got my mind thinking like this, because this is becoming too normal, and I generally think, and you're gonna think I've gone like so far left with this, yeah. But listen to this. I feel like they're gonna use Philip Schofield as a spokesperson for men that like younger people.
If that happens, I'm cancelling life. I'm going back to Scotland in my tent.
Because I feel like they're gonna add a new category.
It's just ridiculous.
Because they're gonna paint the narrative that everyone's against him because he's gay, which is not true. Let's just pull it out there. There's nothing to do with that. You grew,
and you can't say that anyway because of the reception he got from when he came out. You can't then turn around and say the narrative's changed now, because the narrative hasn't changed. The infiltration factors have changed. So when you came out and sat on the sofa, everyone was very supportive. If that's what you wanted to do, was to support him. He got hugged and kisses and all these tears and a whole episode dedicated to you and all this stuff. So everyone was receptive of you then. But then because you've been caught out doing something that's seen society doesn't agree with it. Oh, it's because you're gay. You can't do that.
But then he's going to use that, and then on the back of that, say that there's nothing wrong with men that have things for young boys once it's legal and consensual. Because the first thing he said in his interview, it was legal, even though it was legal and consensual. I still don't think it was right. And I like to apologize to the boy first and foremost. I was like, bro, you have a wife and kids, bro.
And that's who I feel for, the kids. Imagine your uncle's just been sent down for paedophilia.
And
then your dad's going through this. And then your mum's having to deal with all of it. Nah, I can't.
Your kids are going to get it for life.
That's how I know he's...
Look at, that's... You know who her dad is.
Yeah, but that's how I know he's a very narcissistic, toxic person, because he's put his pleasure before his family and his girls. You've gone and done all this stuff and not sheltered your family from it. And you're still playing up the game and still doing the actions, doing all the stuff that you need to do to save yourself instead of looking after your family.
You know, if he done this with a girl, that I'm talking about, like, he had an affair with Holly, we would have all been like, brother, I probably would have done it. I'll keep it real, Holly's looks kind of nice still. I'm not going to lie, you with Holly every single day for a long period of time, I would expect something. Like, we'd be in uproar, but we'd be like, oh, damn, boy, Holly's a baddie, isn't it? You know, Holly's a little baddie.
How did he get Holly?
Yeah, Don must have some game, but he must be yo, Holly, you're not that. But the fact that it was a young gentleman, and then to find out disturbing factors as if he got him the job. Do you know how...
He was promoted.
Do you know how much... I've seen this with my own eyes, because I've been in managerial positions, yeah? That you literally got to be so careful. I've seen regional managers, and I won't snitch on you because I promised I wouldn't. You paid me off. I've seen regional managers sleep with young girls and give them managerial positions. I've seen it with my own eyes.
That lad that he supposedly have groomed worked for This Morning, and when it slowly started to come out, he was promoted to Loose Women. So he was clear of the studio, so the them pair were never seen together. And Loose Women didn't want him.
What was he doing, like background stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to watch it, even Holmes.
You know what scares me with this stuff? You know what scares me is that they knew. Like, are children even safe? Like, because if he can get away with this and there's no repercussions, is this becoming a normality now that young men, older men, that he's 61 years old, he's at my parents' age, bro. Like, he's actually at my parents' age.
Yeah, my mum's just shy of, my dad's just older.
Like, my mum and dad, I saw my mum and dad like 62, 63. Like, he was born like 1959, or no, he was in 1963 or something. 1963 or something.
Well, yeah, 1962, yeah.
The little boy's in his 20s. There's no mate shit there.
I think, like, there's no rules, is there? Like, come on, there's no rules, and if it's legal, then it's deemed legal, isn't it?
But we know little boys.
Oh, 100%. But my ex was 43 and I was 30. Well, I was 28 and he was 43.
Damn, boy,
42. Yeah, he lied about his age. That was the first red flag.
He was an old head. He was with them old guys.
Yeah.
What's he in 50 now?
45, 6. Anyway, doesn't matter. Allow me. I took an L.
She trying to push it to the side like, yeah, I work with this old Don.
But my point is that I felt that was a bit weird. He lied to me about his age, and then when I actually found out the real age, I was like, oh God, he's 13 years older than me. So that meant that so he would have left high school and I hadn't gone to school. And I felt weird about that. So there might not be rules around it, but there's unwritten rules around it. Like, come on. Like, if my dad divorced my mum and came back with a 30-year-old, that ain't happening. You're a weirdo, and I'm going to tell you straight, you're a weirdo.
But in hindsight, is a difference in just meeting someone and grooming them over time.
Oh, 100%.
That's where the weirdness comes. Like,
Yeah.
you wait until you're at the right age. That's mad. That to me is mad. Like, I look to a 14-year-old girl and I'm like, hey, when you're 16, here's my number. When you're 16, call me. That is mad. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't even.
That is wild.
I don't want to say this statement because it's going to clickbait. I genuinely believe it is a mental health problem. It is a mental health problem.
What if an older man just looks at...
If those... I'm not going to say an older man or an older woman. I'm not going to say anything like that. I'm going to say, as a whole, when you are crossing boundaries and doing perverse things and acting out and trying to hide stuff and damaging people's livelihood, it is from a place of mental health struggle, of maybe you not know who you are or what you want or what you deserve, or I don't know what it is, but all these situations happen, or majority of situations happen, they are a little bit unhinged.
But then, with that being said, then does that take onus off?
No, it doesn't. Because I've always said mental health is not an excuse for shitty behaviour.
Thank you.
And I say it with my chest. It really winds me up. My mental health is not your problem or your problem. It's not. It's not. And this is where I get so frustrated working in mental health, because I deal with very vulnerable, extreme cases of mental health sometimes. Whilst they might lack capacity, they know how to behave. And I've got better results with them by being very firm and saying, we're not allowing that behaviour. We just find another way for you to dialogue it. We're not here to be punch bags because people have been through shit. And I was guilty of that. Like my mum, oh my God, my mum, bless her. She got the brunt of it. Like for years, I was vile to her because I didn't know how to articulate my pain. We're not here to be victims in our own mental health. I'm sorry, but no. In fact, it puts more onus on, because if your mental state is not right and you know it's not right, or you feel like something's wrong, you should go deal with that.
100%.
We're not here to pay the penance of people's trauma.
She said penance, that's my surname. Mad.
May, murder, penance,
Yeah, it's just getting a little bit scary.
I won't kill you tonight.
Nervous. Got me nervous. Now she got me nervous.
Oh, no, I'm an empath. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter, but I will fight for love.
But when you say fight for love, why do you need to fight for love? Love is real.
Not as in I'm going to keep picking you and it's the problem. It's us two against the problem and we're going to...
Us against the world, basically.
Yeah.
I respect that. So, how can people find your socials?
It's Miss MV, so EMMVEE. Or, if you are a crazy cat like me, you can find me at The Hiking Hun, which I never plug, but that's my hiking... The Hiking Hun.
What, on Insta?
On Instagram, yeah, that's my hiking page.
No way.
What's
your Tinder?
I don't have Tinder.
What's your Hinge?
I haven't got Hinge. I haven't got any dating sites.
And you know what? I'm asking people that question now. I didn't know a lot of people are on them sites. I'll never be on a dating site because I just don't have time for it personally. And for me, it's a low vibrational thing.
I don't want to happen. I want to happen is I want to walk down the street and I drop my bag on someone's shoe, or someone bangs into me on the train station. She's
in this. Look, listen, forget the love stories.
I know.
Love Jones is not real.
It's called a meet cute.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so if you went into there's a prime example of a film. It's where if someone goes into a lingerie shop and they sell pajamas, the woman goes in and picks up, I just need the pajama top, and he says, I just need the bottoms, and they look at each other and then it's like, oh.
Do you know what? I actually created that myself. I was walking past a girl and I had my papers in my hand. I said, watch this. And I bumped into her and I dropped my papers and I'm like, oh my God,
but you made her day.
And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh man, this work's got me so consumed, man. I'm so stressed out. And she's like, why? Don't take life so serious. And I looked up at her and I was just like, Kebing! And from that moment, me and her just gelled and whatever. But I feel like sometimes you can make the moment.
Just let me dream, all right? I'll stay in reality, but every now and again, just let me. Look at him rubbing his head. Like he's done with me.
No, you know what it is? It's because I'm thinking in my head, you know how.
And you know what it is as well? It really irks my soul, yeah. I mean, I'm going to say it, high value men, yeah. I sit opposite you and I have these chats and you're all like, oh, you're such an empath and you've got a good heart. Where are your friends, hon? Why are you not putting me on? It drives me nuts.
Nah, all the guys are savages. Men are savages, naturally. And if I put you on, you'd probably call me back and I'll get the brunt of it. Fucking player. And you tell your friends, he's a player and his friends stole my heart.
How are you openly cussing your friends like that?
He stole my bank card. Bro, I have men on here that said to me, take the picture of a bank card front and back. I don't think men are thought, what kind of criminal behaviour is this? Bro, I'm not involved in this.
Are all your friends that bad?
They're not all like that.
Like you heard it. They said.
No, them man, most of them are in long-term relationships, so it's like, I wouldn't want to ruin that happiness.
Oh no, I'm not a homemaker.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
I love
so
love.
Them man, and then the ones that are single, is for a reason.
Yeah,
Good
I don't want them.
Good guys, beautiful hearts, but they're single for a reason.
We'll leave them be then.
Yeah, so
they'll be in the single pool together.
Stay away from them guys. Them guys, they're
Nah, I'm not. I'm honestly, I'm just at a place where I'm just living.
Existing or living?
Living. I feel like I'm really. I'm doing a lot, and my social anxiety's gone, and I'm just... The other week I was at some poetry slam reading poetry out. Like, that's wild for me. And
oh, you was reading poetry?
Yeah. Well, basically what they did was they put up, it's called the Blank Canvas.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's called the Blank Canvas Society. Shout out to them. But they put up a picture and they'll play the guitar and the drums and they'll say, write what you see. And you write it there and then. Like, they give you 10 minutes or so to write it, and then you can get up and say your piece.
I like that still.
Yeah, it was good. It was something different as well. Like, I'm not really a party animal like that, so to go out and have a glass of wine and just...
I think I saw that event. You said you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did, and it really... When I got there, I was like, oh, bunch of creatives. Not my thing, but oh my God, did I have my mind changed.
Sick. Well, if I do something like that, it's actually a sick thing, actually.
It was really good.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. I'm different. I like different stuff. I don't like the same stuff that everyone else does.
But you cost me for my different stuff.
No. You said, let's be clear what she said. I'm going to go to Scotland by myself, drive, and then when I get there, I've got a tent, yeah, and I got a big no, I don't have a ramble. I got a kitchen that man's keeping under my pillow, and then I'm going further into
Do you know what?
abyss.
I must say, though, they were really, like, so every campsite I've booked, right, a female contacted me and said...
They know why.
Yeah, and they said... are you travelling on your own? And I was like, yes. And they were like, well, when you get there, you need to come meet somebody, blah, blah. And they're going to give you the contact details so in case you need anything. And we'll put you under CCTV and we'll make sure that you'll buy the amenities so that you're not having to walk too far in the dark. And they were really good.
No, that's good. That's good. I rate that. But, yeah.
I will let you know I'm back safe, though.
Hopefully.
No, I will let you know when I land back safe.
You hear that? She's actually saying that with conviction.
Yes, because I do self-defense and a box. So they're not... No, I'm the wrong person. I'm such a little softie, but if... listen, the next person that comes for me, I'm ready.
That's what I like to hear. But no one's going to come for you. You're going to find love and bliss, and it's going to be...
I might find a Scot, and I might move up there into the hills.
No. I think the accent will do it for you.
It will, no, thank you.
Scottish, man. My Scottish accent is cold. Can't do it now, but yeah. One day you'll see. One day you will see. You know what I'm saying? All right, so people, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go and follow her as well on all her socials. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for having me.